In a previous program, we created a whole bunch of stars kind of in a bar in a sort of ineffective way. So I've got, say, imagine I've got something like this, and I need a bunch of stars in a row. So I've got this, and then semicolon. Okay. So if I've got a whole bunch of stars like this, there's it sort of works, but imagine that I've got to do this multiple times. Maybe the length is going to differ. Looking at this, I actually can't see how many there are, which is the biggest problem of this line of code. So this is probably never how I would do this. If I would do this, I would want to do it this way. I'm going to see out an individual star and then turn this into a loop. So for int I equals 1, while I is less than or equal to, say we want to make 10 in a row, I plus plus, and then make sure that you have this tabbed in. And then what I'm going to get is I'm going to get a row of stars equaling to 10. So you can see I've got 10 there. We'll just trust that it's 10. Don't worry about it. So now if I need to do this a whole bunch in the program, this is where I would use a function for this. So in here, function use. So why am I going to use the function in this program? So one, readability. So I want to make this easier to read. So I am going to change this into like a single line action. And the second thing is reuse. I'm going to use this over and over again. So this is usually a good place to use a function. So what I want to do is I want to create a function, but there's something that is going to be new in this program is we are going to be telling the function from the main program how many of these stars that we want. And this is why we need a function parameter. So the function parameter is parameter is received by a function, and it's kind of the details about operation. So this is what the function is going to do. Here is a detail about how it's going to do this. Sometimes like if you're watching a military movie or something, someone will say something about like, what are the mission parameters? So those are the details about the particular military operation. And that's what we're going to employ here. So what I want to do is I want to do this instead of in this method. I want to create a handy dandy method called drawStars. And then where we're going to pass this is by telling it the number 10. We're going to send it the value 10, and then in the way that we construct it, it will know that that 10 represents how many stars it has to make. So now the strange thing here is 10 is not what we call a parameter, but it's what's called an argument, which is really, the distinction is this is sent to a function, and the parameters that we're about to see is something received by the function. So this 10 gets sent as an argument and gets received as a parameter, which could be confusing. Really, if you talk parameters interchangeably between the two, that's probably fine. Although technically not correct. So now I'm going to create this function. So this is still going to be void drawStars, just like we normally do. However, what I need to do is I need to create something that is going to receive the number 10. So it's like I'm throwing it to the function. However, what I need is a particular container that is going to catch the number 10. So for that, we know that a good container is a variable. And the place I put this is right up here. So int stars. So what happens is, so parameter, there we go. So the 10 is just a value. The value 10 gets sent to the function, and then we're going to catch it in the stars variable, and then it will know really how many stars that it has to do. So we're going to use this loop here and put it right here. So now it'll receive stars, and then instead of 10, we will put stars here. And then we can do something in the main program like draw stars 10, 11, 12, 13, but you have to know that we have to do an end L after each of these. So cout, end L, cout, end L, cout, end L, and then a cout, end L. Okay, so if we do this, what you're going to get is an ascending bunch of stars here. So what we've got to do then is maybe we want to do shape, and we'll need some different symbols other than stars. We're going to take stars as the default. Maybe we want to put a space, something like that. So we're going to make another very similar function to this. And this one is going to be, instead of draw stars, we're going to do void draw chars. So in this case, it's going to receive whatever character we want to draw, and it's going to do those characters. So imagine that this second one, I want to send it 11, but I don't want it to do stars. I want this one to do, I guess, maybe dollar signs. So the way I want to do that is I want to say, okay, I want 11. I want 11 what? I want 11 dollar signs. So you separate your arguments by commas, and then we need to do both of these. Now, not only is it important that there are two of them, but the order is also important. So the first value that I am throwing to the function is this integer 11. So int, let's call this one, I don't, no, I guess I can call it chars, because the variable type is a char. And the next one is char. Let's call this one shape. It won't make a lot of sense, but I'm going to call it char shape. So anyway, I guess a dollar sign is a kind of shape. So I've got a number of characters. I've got which character it's going to be, and then I can kind of repeat this here. So I'm going to copy this, paste. Instead of stars, I'm going to go chars, and then instead of printing out the star, I'm going to print out the shape. So now when I run the program, it occurs to me that I've got an error here. I did not rename this. So draw stars, and this is an important error to get. It says error, too many arguments to function void draw stars. So what it's telling me is that I have too many arguments that I'm passing to it. So I'm sending it 1, 2 things, and it is set up to receive only one thing. So that was a handy error to have made, so I could show you that. So I've got to change this to draw chars. I'll run it again. And there we go. You can see that that works. You can do this with spaces, dollar signs, pretty much whatever you want. So that is the basic passing of an argument and then receiving it as a parameter. And I will say the majority of the functions that we will be writing will involve receiving a parameter, because we want to make them a little bit more reusable by giving them some information about how they're going to run.